The Awakening, the Revised Edition by Lilac Moon. Chapter 6, Hostage Crisis, Part 2. Anakin nuzzled her neck as he placed soft, tender kisses along the slender column of flesh. They were bathing in the afterglow of a very passionate session of lovemaking, and it had not been the first of that evening. They were sated and satisfied after a magical night of love and reuniting as husband and wife. It was late, or early, depending on how one looked at it, and they were thoroughly wrapped in each other's arms, spooned together, with limbs entwined ever so tightly. An absolutely perfect fit, as if they were puzzle pieces meant to fit together, and Anakin was positive that they were. "Please tell me you're not required to go to the Senate this morning," he whispered as his lips feasted on a tender spot just below her earlobe. She hummed in response to his ministrations. "No, my love. I'm all yours today. I am not required to be there. Unfortunately, tomorrow I am required to be present in my office. However, I have only one scheduled meeting in the morning. You could sneak into my office after that," she told him. "Won't you have work that requires your attention?" he asked. "I am only required to be in my office that day. I never said I was going to do any work. You, my amazing, handsome husband, require my full attention for far more than any paperwork. That's what my assistants are for. I should utilize their skills once in a while," Padme replied. "You'd do that?" he asked. She looked into his beautiful, captivating sapphire eyes and caressed his cheek. "If I've ever made you think my work is more important than you, my sweet protector, then I owe you a humble and deep apology," Padme told him. "You don't owe me an apology. I know just how much you love me," he said, smirking devilishly for a moment. "Besides, when you were singing my name 10 minutes ago, that was enough gratitude for a lifetime," he said playfully. "But in all seriousness, I know that your work is very important to you. Your passion for serving your people and doing what's in their best interest is one of the many things I love about you," he replied. "Well, I'd still like to demonstrate how much you mean to me again," she replied sultrily. "And how do you plan to do that?" he inquired playfully. "Oh, I think you know how," she whispered seductively in his ear as their lips met again, passion consuming them once again. Cad Bane. His name was still relatively unknown, at least to the Republic. But all that was about to change. He was a lethal bounty hunter. Many planets in the Outer Rim, where he had operated up until now, knew and feared his name. No job was too big for him, and that's why he was now working for Sidious and his associate, Tyrannus. Just as Jango Fett once made a name for himself in the Republic, so would he. But he would far suppress Fett's reputation. He was far more skilled. The Republic would soon know him and fear him, and the Jedi would meet their match in him. He would become legendary. "I trust you and your associates have arrived on Coruscant without incident," Tyrannus spoke as his hologram appeared before Bane. "Yes, we're here. What's the job?" Bane requested. "This first assignment is simply a test," Tyrannus replied. "Well, I'm more than confident that I won't disappoint," Bane boasted. "See that you don't. You'll be taking the Senate building hostage. About 40 of the most active and outspoken members of the delegation of 2,000 will be meeting tomorrow afternoon in a meeting rotunda on the 14th floor. The Chancellor will be in his office, and if he wants to let them live, he will commission the release of Zero the Hutt. See that the Hutt finds safe passage back to his home planet and detonate the explosives in the Senate meeting room," Tyrannus said. Bane hid his surprise at the magnitude of this plot. An ambitious plan, but nothing I can't handle, Bane replied. I have it on good authority that a young Jedi will be in the vicinity and will try to thwart you. Do not underestimate him. He is very gifted, Tyrannus warned. The Jedi is the one that will need to be worried, Bane replied. Let's hope you live up to your reputation, and that you're worth the price, Tyrannus said as his hologram faded. Oh, believe me, Bane said to himself. I am. The next day. Thank you for dropping off those reports. I'll take a look at them before the committee meeting next week, Padme told the stubborn, rude senator, who disagreed with her stance on the particular issue in question. He finally left, and she sighed. The senator's unexpected visit had forced her husband to hide in the storage room where her datapads and other office files were stored. Wow, I really don't like the way that old codger talked to you, said Anakin as he emerged. I'm sorry, Annie, and codger is the right word. He thinks women have a place, and that it's not in politics, Padme replied. Yeah, he is a chauvinist for sure, but you're 10 times the legislator he is, Anakin said. She kissed him softly. Why, thank you. I could have done without his rude interruption, though. We were very busy, she said sultrily as she played with the hair on the back of his neck. He captured her lips with his own, and the kisses grew feverish as he backed her up towards the desk. She broke the kiss and looked at the window behind them. What if someone sees us? She asked. Sees what? You mean sees me throw you down and ravish you like I'm about to? He asked, wriggling his eyebrows playfully. She giggled. Yes, that, she replied as she smothered her hands along his strong chest. No one can see the window right now. All they see is a big sun glare on the glass. You're my life, as much as this weapon is, and I'll do anything to protect you, he said as he placed his lightsaber in her hands. Wow, it's heavier than it looks, she mentioned, knowing exactly how much trust there was between them for him to put the weapon in her hands. It was true, though. She was his everything. Padme felt like melting at his words as she kissed him passionately, before setting his lightsaber on the desk. She sat down on the desk as their hands began to roam. When a knock shattered the moment, Padme groaned. I can't believe this, Padme said in irritation. I'll go hide again, Anakin said as she handed his lightsaber to him. He stopped suddenly. A confused look washed over his face. What is it? She whispered. I don't know. Something doesn't feel right. I'll get rid of whoever's at the door, Padme promised. As he hid around the corner, Padme opened the door, finding Bail Organa behind it. Bail, please come in, Padme said politely. I can't stay, Senator. Senator Tarr told me that the committee called a meeting. It starts in 5 minutes. Bail said. Padme looked casually over to where Anakin was hiding. Something wasn't right. The committee wasn't known for calling last-minute meetings on such short notice. She saw him shake his head. Go on without me. I have to make a call and I'll be there as soon as I can, Padme told him. Bail accepted her answer and left, as Anakin came out. Anakin, what do you think's going on? Padme asked. I don't know, but something doesn't feel right, he replied, as an alarm suddenly sounded in the building, before being swiftly silenced. That was the intruder alarm, Padme said. Anakin nodded. Just as I thought. Someone who isn't supposed to be here is in the building, Anakin replied. But this is the Senate building. How did they get past all the clones? She asked. They're probably heavily armed, organized, and just plain good. Not to mention that there is probably more than one, Anakin replied. What are we going to do? She asked. We're going to find out what's going on, and you're going to stick to me like glue. Do you have a blaster around here? He asked. Of course I do, she replied as she slid one out from a holster that rested on the underside of her desk. Anakin smirked. Force how he loved her. Good. Let's go find out what's going on, Anakin said as he took her hand as they snuck into the corridor. Are we ready to begin? I had to clear my schedule to hear this meeting. Orn Free Tar griped. A loyalist to Palpatine, Senator Tar had little time for most of the senators in the room. Senator Amidala will be along shortly, but you are the one to call us here, Bail responded. Yes, this meeting was very short notice. I had to postpone a scheduled appointment. Why did you move the meeting? Mon Mothma questioned. I didn't call this meeting. I was merely told to come mitigate. I assumed it was one of you, Tar replied. It was neither us or Padme, Bail replied. Then who did? Mon questioned. But none had the answer. Until they heard the intruder alarm blare to life, albeit only for a few seconds. The door slid open and an armed man walked in with his accomplices flanking him. What is the meaning of this? Orn Free Tar commanded. I call this meeting, Bane responded. They were suddenly surrounded by the intruders and held at bay with blasters. Padme kicked off her high heels as she followed her husband very closely. She pointed to her right, and that led them to the balcony that overlooked the meeting rotunda. Very quietly and very carefully, they crept towards the railing and looked over, only to find the room being held hostage by an unfamiliar man and several cohorts. Annie, who is that? Padme whispered. I don't know. I've never seen him before. But if he got past all the clone security, then he's good. Anakin whispered back, as they quietly listened in order to find out who he was and what he wanted. I'm the one calling the shots, Tubby. Now get the Chancellor on that comm screen, Bane ordered. Who are you? Orn asked. My name is Cad Bane, and if you want to live, you'll connect me to Chancellor Palpatine, Bane growled. We will not negotiate with terrorists, a human male senator said. Padme had never really spoken to him much, only in meetings, and didn't know him well. That did not prepare her for what Bane did next, however. The bounty hunter raised his blaster and shot the man point blank between the eyes. Padme's hand flew to her mouth, as screams of alarm and terror rang through the chamber. Padme breathed deeply to keep from screaming, as Anakin pulled her into his arms. This Bane person had shown his capability for evil and cruelty, for he hadn't even batted an eye when he senselessly murdered the man. He was a bounty hunter for hire. Of that Anakin was sure. The question was who hired him, and for what purpose. The very obese Senator of Ryloth waddled his way to the comm section, and the Chancellor appealed. Chancellor Palpatine! Tar cried. What is the meaning of this? Demanded Palpatine. Greetings, Chancellor. I'm Cad Bane. And I'm here with these fine constituents of yours, Bane said. What do you want? Palpatine demanded. In exchange for their lives, you will release Zero the Hutt from prison. If you refuse, then I will detonate the explosives that my people have planted, and you'll have 40 dead senators on your hands, Bane said. Palpatine sat stone still. The Republic does not negotiate with terrorists, Bane replied. That's what he said. And now he's dead, Bane said, as he motioned to the dead senator. Palpatine's face showed great angst. Very well. We will do as you ask, Palpatine relented. Wise choice. My associate will escort this blue tub of lard up to your office. Then you will give him the pardon chip that will release the Hutt. He will accompany my associate to the prison. And once Zero is released, the senators may go free. Try anything, and this place goes up in flames, Bane warned. You will get what you want, bounty hunter, as long as you don't harm anyone else, Palpatine said. A terrified Orn Free Tar was escorted out at blaster point, while the others could only remain still as possible in captivity. He wants to free Zero the Hutt? Padme whispered, a puzzled expression on her face.
He's a bounty hunter. Someone has hired him. And if he's as ruthless as I think he probably is, then he'll detonate those explosives even if he does get what he wants.
Anakin whispered back. What are we going to do? She asked. He looked down and counted 4 minions in addition to Bane himself. But there were probably many more milling about throughout the building.
It's too risky to try and take them all at once. Too many people, including you, could get hurt. There's probably more than 4 in the building. Which means, if we can make our way down to the 14th floor, I can hopefully take them out one at a time as we make our way there. Our chances will be much better that way. Stay close to me,
he told her. She nodded and held onto his arm as they navigated the vacant corridors. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Okay, I'm enjoying this. I really am. Anyway, what a good chapter. You guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, girls and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.